Bali bombing survivor Chusnul Chotimah now fears losing access to life-saving treatments after Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto announced $19 billion in budget cuts to fund his election promises. Take a look at that special report on the same as well.
After over 2 decades and 37 surgeries, Chusnul Chotimah still struggles with the trauma of surviving the Bali bombing in 2002. Now, she's also grappling with fear that the life-saving help she's needed since then will end under Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto. The bombing remains one of the world's deadliest militant attacks. The explosions in Bali's Kuta beach area left 202 people dead and were blamed on Al-Qaeda-linked group Jemaah Islamiyah. Chusnul was among the 209 additional people who were injured. Now, she needs treatment to fight potentially deadly infections.
From LPSK, I get skin medication because I suffer from 70% degree burns. I also get orthopedic aid because I still have shrapnel in my body, 4 in my feet and 1 in my breast. I receive medication for nerves too.
It's all provided by Indonesia's Victim and Witness Protection Agency, LPSK. But last week, Prabowo announced $19 billion in budget cuts to fund his election promises, including school lunches. Economists warn it could hit the country's growth, while Chusnul has discovered her treatments are at risk.
I came across the news that there will be budget cuts. I contacted the vice head of LPSK and asked, is it true that there'll be budget cuts to LPSK from the government? She said yes. I asked, how will that affect the victim's medical aid? She told me, it seems your aid won't be safe. When she answered that, I was questioning a lot of things.
To make matters worse, without treatment coverage, she says she'll have to sacrifice her own medical needs to provide for her son, who himself needs expensive medical attention. While Prabowo remains broadly popular, the cuts sparked student protests across Indonesia last week. Thousands took to the streets, afraid the reduced budget will weaken social support systems and their futures. Prabowo's office did not immediately respond to requests for comment on Saturday. His office said that the cuts affect only unnecessary spending and not essential public services. The head of LPSK told Reuters the agency supports the cuts, even though it slashed their budget by half, and that the agency will continue to uphold the rights of witnesses and victims while pursuing efficiency efforts. Other bombing survivors told Reuters they sent a letter to Parliament and Prabowo demanding the LPSK be exempt from the cuts. As for Chusnul, she's unsure of what comes next.
For my daily needs, I can try to look for money from working. I will fight for food and school for my kids. But for my treatments, to go without LPSK's aid is impossible. I will no longer lead a normal life.